Welcome back. Here with us on Trading Hour. Let's get back to that conversation with Unmesh. Unmesh, so what I was, looking to ask you was, you didn't have a view on the Kala Mandir IPO, but this theme of rising affluence and urban consumption, that has been well documented, and stocks have also run up. I mean, we've seen what's happened to, let's say, Indian Hotels or Titan. So, A, would you still look to play this theme? And B, if yes, then how?
Okay, so the K-shaped recovery, I think, is well documented. I think you're absolutely right. In fact, that's also led to buoyancy in things like events, what was being called revenge consumption and so on and so forth. The issue, however, if you look at our model portfolio and our research team as well, what the research team is saying is that there seems to be no easy way to play that because the valuations have just gone to a point at which, it's very difficult to make sense of that. Now, what we believe will eventually end up happening is that the earnings will start to come through, as we normalize into this year, let's say in the teens, which will still be good, but then the valuations don't support that. So the way in which we are looking at the consumption basket is two things. One is on the K-shaped recovery, the way to play that is we have an overweight position in Sobha, for example, in our model portfolio. So there is a real estate thing.
I think we've just lost that link with Unmesh. Okay. So he's saying how he's looking to play that K-shaped recovery, as it's called, upper end of the consumption patterns taking off. Sova, that's interesting. Today's other listing was Signature Global. Yeah. So, Unmesh, sorry, you were saying that you're looking to play this via Sobha. What else?
Yeah, and so Maruti, for example. But if you look at, one of the names you took, which was Titan, we don't think the valuation comfort is there. In fact, across the consumption basket, if you see our model portfolio, we are underweight significantly. At the bottom end, we are not comfortable anyway. And at the top end, honestly, with the exception of indirect players like Sobha, Maruti, and, the rotation names like Crompton Consumer, we have no overweights in there at all.
Where do you stand on HDFC Bank? Do you think now is an attractive price valuation to buy HDFC Bank?
Interestingly, second question I can't answer.
Yeah, I know. It should have. Yeah. All right.
So, no,
what about your thoughts on Bajaj Finance and the planned fundraise next week?
Yeah. So, look, on the fundraise, I won't comment. But if you look at our model portfolio across the board, what you will notice is that we have cut our overweight stance on the banks and NBFCs. And Bajaj Finance, interestingly, has actually a zero weight in there. So even though eventually, it's an ad rating for us, but the conviction on that one in terms of valuation seems to be on the lower side. What we do have in the banks and NBFCs is basically the large banks and some of the smaller banks we have added, like City Union and Bandhan Bank in there. That's how we are playing this. So you can see that our stance is generally a little bit on the cautious stance side, and especially on valuation. So whatever there is very high valuation, you will find that we are underweight on that.
Well, I didn't think I'll ask you a question relating to PSUs and valuations of PSU banks and valuations in the same breath, but that's the kind of market we're in, Unmesh, right? IOB is trading at 3 times price to book. It's just been completely gravity defying. As PSUs in general, including PSU banks, what would your advice be now, looking at this absolutely relentless rally?
Yeah, so look, we prefer safety. The only PSU that we have in there is basically State Bank. That one we are comfortable with even now. So honestly, if you want to go down the quality curve, so as to speak, I think that this is not the right time to be doing that in the markets. So if you wish to play a PSU, then within the banks, okay, specifically within the banks is SBI. What we do have, however, if you look at our PSU, on the PSU side is basically on the power utilities. So it's not like we don't like PSUs as a concept, but then it has to make valuation sense. In that context, NTPC and PGCIL is there in there, but yeah, other than that, not comfortable.
Unmesh, thank you very much.
Oil PSUs is a different thing. Yeah.
Oil PSUs. Okay, so you've got NTPC, you've got oil PSUs,
PGCIL,
and you've got
Power Grid and SBI.
And Power Grid. Power Grid and SBI, but you're staying clear of the other financials. Thank you very much, Unmesh, for joining in. Well, with that, we've come up, wrapped up on trading hour, completely out of time. Thank you very much for joining in.